very happy to hear now from Swami Sarvapriyanandaji, and after him from Swami Sarvadevanandaji on this sacred day of Swami Brahmananda's birth.
Om Kalindi Phullakamali Madhavena Kridarata Brahmananda Namastubhyam Sadguru Lokanayaka. This Sanskrit verse which I just recited. It's customary to begin any worship or meditation or talk on Swami Brahmananda by chanting this verse. And this verse refers to a mystic vision which Sri Ramakrishna had just before meeting Swami Brahmananda for the first time. He saw in his vision Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Brahmananda and some of the other Swamis were given to lots of visions. Swami Vijnanananda used to say, I see lots of visions. You see, I don't get much sleep. That's why I think I see lots of visions. So Sri Ramakrishna saw this vision in which he saw on a lotus flower blooming in the Ganga, no less. He saw a vision of the child Krishna playing with another child. And later on, when he saw Rakhal for the first time, that was Swami Brahmananda's pre-monastic name. So when he saw Rakhal for the first time, and he immediately recognized this child as the child that he had seen in his mystic vision. And he asked the boy his name. What's your name? And the boy replied, Rakhal. Now that's very evocative for an Indian, because Rakhal literally means the cowherd children of Vrindavan who used to play with Krishna when Krishna was a child in Vrindavan. So the little boys there, they used to play with him, they used to be his friends, and they were called Rakhal. It basically means a cowherd. And so that's how Sri Ramakrishna saw Rakhal. But even before he saw Swami Brahmananda, the Divine Mother had revealed to him that he would have a son. And Sri Ramakrishna said, that's so strange. How can I have a son just like everybody else? Is that what's going to happen? And then Divine Mother said, no, this boy will be your spiritual son. Manasaputra, spiritual son. You will recognize him when you see him. And that's how Sri Ramakrishna recognized Rakhal. And the boy was extremely devotional. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna mentioned that Rakhal is of the house of the personal God. Whenever people would talk about non-dualism or about the impersonal, Swami Brahmananda actually would get up, in his younger days, would get up and quietly leave the place. He was deeply devotional. His father was a big man, and with ambitions to be bigger. He didn't like his son going so much to the temple garden of Dakshineshwar to visit this strange, half-mad mystic. He forbade him to do so, in fact. And once he locked up Rakhal, actually, to prevent him from going to Ramakrishna, to meet Ramakrishna. But Rakhal took the first opportunity, escaped and went to Ramakrishna. And his father, Ananda Mohan, came there. We can imagine he must have been very annoyed to take Rakhal back. But Sri Ramakrishna told Rakhal he was very gentle and was very shy and was very quiet. So when he saw his father coming, he got scared. And Sri Ramakrishna said, don't be scared. Parents are veritably the living gods. When your father comes, you bow down to him humbly and let me do the talking. So Rakhal bowed down to his father, and that pleased his father. And then Sri Ramakrishna said, what a wonderful, he greeted Rakhal's father very heartily and said, what a wonderful nature Rakhal has. You can see his face, his lips are always moving, he's taking the name of God, he's repeating the name of God all the time. And he's truly a wonderful boy, and that's no wonder. One can, just by seeing him, one can know what kind of father he has got. So he comes from such a wonderful father. No wonder he's such a good boy. That pleased Rakhal's father and disarmed his objections to Rakhal's visiting Sri Ramakrishna. And what pleased him even more is that Rakhal's father saw quite a number of rich and powerful people who were visiting Ramakrishna. And so he thought, this is not a bad place. If I come and make these connections, it might help me in my professional life. So that's how it came about that Swami Brahmananda, Rakhal, got unfettered access to Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna very dearly loved the boy. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna treated him like a little boy. He used to say, sometimes he would weep and say, how simple you are. Oh, what will happen to you when I am dead and gone? Who will look after you? Now, Rakhal was a healthy, educated, strong young man. So I don't think he really needed looking after. In fact, he was the one who looked after our enormous organization in its initial days. But Sri Ramakrishna had that paternal, almost maternal affection for Rakhal. One day, Rakhal just happened to mention that he is a little hungry, casually. And Sri Ramakrishna got so worried about it. Now, in his very strange way, he went straight to the bank of the Ganges and he started shouting, "Oh, Gaurdasi, my Rakhal is hungry. Come quickly and bring food." Now, that's very strange behavior, and Rakhal was very annoyed because everybody could hear that Rakhal is hungry. But strangely enough, just a little while later, a boat came to Dakshineshwar with Balaram Babu and Gaurima, and they had bought lots of sweets. That was a coincidence, or maybe not. Anyhow, Sri Ramakrishna called Rakhal, "See, Rakhal, Gaurdashi has come with sweets for you. Come and eat." And Rakhal, of course, was very annoyed. Said, "Do you have to shout about it like that? Why do you have to go and tell everybody?" Sri Ramakrishna said, "You are hungry. I just said that you are hungry. What's wrong in it?" So it was like that. Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda, and Rakhal, they were the best of friends. All throughout their lives, they were the best of friends. But Narendranath was like the sun, blazing, bright, scorching. Rakhal, Swami Brahmananda, was like the moon, gentle and luminous, somebody said, like the gentle dewdrops which makes the flowers bloom early in the morning. Rakhal's spirituality was like that. He would make the hearts of people bloom, just find God in their hearts, just by his presence. But Narendranath and Rakhal at that time, they were young men and members of Brahmo Samaj, which was a reform Hindu movement. And one of the things they did was that you shouldn't go and bow down to images. That's one of the things that they had at that time. Brahmo Samaj is not doing too well these days. I think partly due to Ramakrishna maybe. The image worship is back with a vengeance all throughout Hinduism, not only in Hinduism, all over the world I can see that. Anyway, when Rakhal started going to the Kali temple following Ramakrishna, Narendranath took exception to it. He took Rakhal aside and scolded him. "Haven't you promised not to go and bow down to an image, and here you are going to the Kali temple in Dakshineshwar and bowing down to an image?" Now Rakhal, he couldn't say anything. He was very gentle. He just started avoiding Narendranath. Didn't want to come face to face with him. And Sri Ramakrishna saw that and he scolded Narendranath. He said, "Why are you fighting against Rakhal? Can everybody realize the formless God? Can everybody be a non-dualist at the very beginning? That is his nature. Don't disturb him." And after that, Swami Vivekananda actually never did protest against Rakhal's going to the temple. And very soon, Narendranath himself was going to the temple and bowing down before Mother Kali. But that's another story. He came from a rich family, an aristocratic family. So when Sri Ramakrishna asked him to massage his feet, that's one thing that Sri Ramakrishna used to do sometimes. That's how actually he would transmit power sometimes to his disciples and give his blessings. Make them do a little bit of service to him and they would get these blessings. Rakhal hesitated. And Sri Ramakrishna said, no, go and do this. Massage my feet. You see, if you worship, if you serve a sadhu, you get immediate results, visible results. And Rakhal, when he started massaging Sri Ramakrishna's feet, he had the vision of Divine Mother as a little girl of 8 or 9 years old, circling around the bed of Sri Ramakrishna and then disappearing into the body of Sri Ramakrishna. It was such a stunning vision that Rakhal was awestruck. And Sri Ramakrishna just smiled and he said, "Didn't I say you will get visible results?" One day, when Rakhal was massaging Sri Ramakrishna's body with oil, he asked for a very high spiritual experience. Sri Ramakrishna, instead of at first ignored him and then scolded him sharply. And Rakhal, it's just like a very dear child who has never been scolded by a parent. So it's a terrible shock. And Rakhal was upset, angry, sullen, and he actually, like a little boy, he threw the bottle of oil on the ground and stormed out, vowing never to return. But hardly had walked a few paces outside the temple compound towards the gate, he found his feet were getting heavier. He could not put one step after the other, and he actually sat down on the dirt ground. And then Sri Ramakrishna sent somebody to fetch him back. And Sri Ramakrishna said, where will you go? I have drawn a circle around this place. You cannot leave. A few days later, Rakhal followed Sri Ramakrishna as usual to the temple, and he sat down in the Nath Mandir, in the hall facing the temple of the Divine Mother, and started meditating. Very soon he saw this flood of spiritual light, illumination, maybe the light of consciousness or what, flowing out of the temple of the Divine Mother and engulfing him. He said it was like a light of 1,000,000 suns. He was terrified. He jumped up and he ran to Sri Ramakrishna, just like a little boy, and told him what has happened. And Sri Ramakrishna said, just the other day you wanted this experience and now you get it, you run away. What can I do? So so many such things happened. When Sri Ramakrishna passed away, it was very touching. There's a scene where Rakhal Brahmananda is telling Sri Ramakrishna that do not go away and leave us alone. We shall pray to the Lord that he should not take you away from us. It's very touching. Sri Ramakrishna passed away, and Swami Vivekananda took up the leadership of the organization. But Sri Ramakrishna used to say, look at the vision, insight he had into human nature. The gentle, quiet, unassuming Rakhal, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, he has the nature of a king. He has the intelligence of a king, Raja. Raja is a king. And Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath, he understood what Sri Ramakrishna meant. And he used to say that you are our Raja, you are our king, he used to say to Swami Brahmananda. And in fact, in our order, in our tradition, Swami Brahmananda is called Raja Maharaj. It's called Raja Maharaj. I remember two interesting incidents. One, a recording of Swami Nirvanananda's talk, old tape recording. Swami Nirvanananda was the sevak of Swami Brahmananda, his personal assistant till the very last day of Swami Brahmananda. And Swami Brahmananda, before passing away, blessed everybody all around him. And he blessed Nirvanananda by saying that you will attain Brahmajnana, enlightenment in this life. Anyhow, Swami Nirvanananda later was the vice president of the Ramakrishna order, and he visited Hollywood, he visited Santa Barbara and all these centers here with Swami Madhavanandaji. Anyhow, I heard a recording where Swami Nirvanananda is talking about Swami Brahmananda, and he had a very unique way of referring to him. He used to say Rakhal Raja. We say Raja Maharaj, some say Swami Brahmananda. Swami Nirvanananda used to say Rakhal Raja, the king of the cowherds of Vrindavan. Our Rakhal Raja, Amadir Rakhal Raja. Rakhal Raja used to say this. This is one thing about him being called Raja. The other thing is, I have myself seen a brahmachari about to join the order. His nickname was Raja. And immediately the monks of the order told him, don't ever reveal that to anybody. There is only one Raja Maharaj in our order. And there will always be, there's only one Raja Maharaj. So that's why he's not only called Raja, when the time came, Narendranath made him the president of the order. He made Swami Brahmananda the president of the order. They had a wonderful relationship, the two of them. Once, sometimes Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda would scold everybody, including Swami Brahmananda. Once, when Belur Math was being constructed, Swami Vivekananda was still there, and Swami Vijnananandaji, again related to our center because Swami Swahanandaji was the disciple of Swami Vijnananandaji. Swami Vijnananandaji was the engineer who was making certain alterations, and there's an embankment being constructed, and it went over budget. We know all about that in this country, especially going over budget. So it went over budget, and funds were tight. nobody dared to tell Swami Vivekananda. Swami Brahmananda took the responsibility. He said, okay, I'll deal with this. When Swami Vivekananda found out, he was furious. He called Brahmananda and scolded him mercilessly. Swami Brahmananda burst into tears and ran to his room. At which Swami Vivekananda burst into tears, and he came and held Swami Brahmananda and said, our master loved you so much. You were like a child, he loved you like a child, and I have abused you, insulted you. I don't deserve to live here. I shall go away from this place. And so that was the kind of love they had for each other. Of course, Swami Brahmananda again embraced Swami Vivekananda. And then Swami Vivekananda himself passed away. There's a beautiful, touching description how Swami Brahmananda wept like a child in front of the body of Swami Vivekananda. And when the body was lifted and taken for cremation, Swami Brahmananda says, it's as if the entire Himalayan mountain range rose up before my eyes and disappeared from my sight. And he became the head of the order. Swami Vivekananda used to say he was a spiritual dynamo. There are so many wonderful descriptions of him. He would go to all these holy places, not as an ordinary pilgrimage, because wherever he would go to the temples, Madurai, Vishwanath, Puri, he would see the deities, he would have visions, direct visions of the gods and goddesses there. And often he would go into ecstasy. There's a description of how he went to the temple of Vishwanath in Kashi once, and instead of going into the temple once, there was this sweeper sweeping the precincts of the temple. Swami Brahmananda went there and took the broomstick from his hand, and the sweeper wouldn't let go. So Swami Brahmananda gave him a coin and then took the broomstick away, and for 2 hours, in front of such a large crowd of people, including monks and devotees, they watched awestruck as in an ecstasy. He swept the temple. And he said later, I got such a divine joy out of it, more than actually having the vision of the deity. And there are so many such incidents. Every place he went to, he had a vision of the presiding deity there. Once he was in the south, in Madras, then in Bangalore. Sister Deva, in Arati, Sister Devamata records this in our Madras, Ramakrishna Math Madras. During the Arati, he was sitting at the back and he went into an ecstasy. He was sitting in a meditation posture, went into ecstasy. Nobody noticed until Sashi Maharaj, Swami Ramakrishnanandaji noticed this. And he pointed out to Swami Brahmananda, who was lost to the world, a faint smile on his lips just after Arati. And when others looked at him, the description is so vivid, when others turned around and looked at him, their minds rose to a very high plane. Sister Devamata records how a boy who was crossing the temple at that time stopped, fixed like a picture, like a statue. He couldn't move. It became like a picture. For half an hour, people did not move. They just sat like, it was not even still, more still than being still, like a picture. Until Swami Brahmananda came out of it. So, they had this power. Swami Vivekananda, we know that remarkable incident in the courtyard in Belur Math, when he's talking about experience of Brahman everywhere. And his disciples are around him. And Swami Vivekananda said, seeing God, see God right here. Here is Brahman in front of your eyes. And their minds went into some realm. They just stood stunned. And the more advanced they were, the effect was more radical. Swami Premananda was going with the plate for puja. He was just passing by when he overheard that. See Brahman right here. At that moment, he went into samadhi, standing there with the puja, one foot stepping ahead with that, and stood like that. And for a long time, there was no sound in that courtyard. Somebody sitting, somebody standing, stock still, until Swami Vivekananda said to Premananda, Baburam, you can go now. Go. And then Premananda started walking. There were so many such examples. Swami Brahmananda himself was the president of the order. And it was a great task. He actually delegated work to Premananda to run the Belur Math, and Swami Saradananda, the general secretary of the order, to run the whole order. And it was a great difficulty to bring him to these board meetings, the trust meetings of the trustees. So once I think Swami Shuddhananda, somebody asked him, Maharaj, why do you make such a fuss about attending the trustee meetings, the board meetings? And then he said, what can I do? The world seems like a shadow to me. It's difficult for me to think about these things. Once, and he would find it very difficult to sign. Resolutions would be taken to the board, and he would have, as the president, he would have to sign this, and he would keep telling Swami Shuddhananda and others who would come with the resolutions, not today, I don't feel well, you'll come tomorrow, I'll sign it tomorrow, and if you postpone it. And it was so strange, until one day Shuddhanandaji, I think it was Shuddhanandaji who asked him, what's so difficult about signing it? Why don't you just sign it? And he said, I want to sign it, I can't remember my name. There's a graphic description of one of the board meetings, incredible board meeting. Swami Brahmananda is there, Swami Saradananda is there, all the direct disciples who were the trustees and members of the board, and in Belur Math, in the courtyard. And they said, where is Swami Premananda? He was upstairs in the temple, in the old temple in Belur Math, meditating. So somebody asked, bring him down. So Swami Saradananda went upstairs and he saw Swami Premananda in deep meditation. Now, Brahmananda was slightly built and Saradananda was a huge man. So Saradananda bent down, caught hold of Premananda and picked him up in meditation and brought him down. And when he brought him down, in the midst of the other monks, including Brahmananda, Shivananda, I think Turyananda also was probably, Subodhananda was there. Premananda landed lightly on his feet, went into an ecstasy and started dancing. And around him, and Swami Brahmananda went into an ecstasy, Swami Shivananda went into an ecstasy, and they started playing this khol. And the other monks gathered around to see this divine sight, and the whole board meeting dissolved into singing and dancing. And that was the end of the board meeting. But Swami Brahmananda had an eye on administration. Not only Belur Math, everywhere. So many things, traditions which we have, the Ramnam which we had today, was introduced by Swami Brahmananda. Even the Nagalingam flowers you see in Belur Math, they were introduced by Swami Brahmananda. Some items of diet, some certain South Indian dishes he liked, which he bought and made part of the Belur Math routine. And so many things, so many adjustments he made to the whole order, started so many centers, Bhuvaneshwar for example. Once there was a dispute among the two ashrams, Home of Service and Advaita Ashram in Kashi, Benares. And Swami Brahmananda, and nobody could resolve it. Even Turyanandaji and Saradanji couldn't resolve the problem. Swami Brahmananda said, don't do anything, I'm coming. When the people who were fighting among each other, quarreling, some new novices, monastic novices, they heard the president of the order is coming, they were scared. Because they thought they might be punished, or there'll be meetings and there'll be a show cause. And nothing happened. He came and he did not say anything about the quarrel. He just said, in the morning you come and meditate in front of me. In the evening we will sing devotional songs, meditation, and there will be question answers. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Within a week, a fortnight, all the quarrels disappeared. Everybody's mind rose to such a level that all those little issues, one of the ringleaders, one of the most quarrelsome monks actually, he went away to the Himalayas to spend his days in meditation. So things like that happened around him. Funny things happened too. Everybody liked it so much sitting near him. One day in Kashi they have the system, the monastic community. Monastic community, they have feasts. They are called Sadhu Bhandara. So everywhere they will go around inviting to all the ashrams that on such and such date there will be a feast for monks in such ashram, and you are to send 5 representatives or 10 representatives or so many people from your ashram. And one day there was such a feast in another ashram, but nobody was willing to go because Swami Brahmananda is there, and the head of the ashram was embarrassed. So he told Swami Brahmananda, what can we do? There's an invitation, but none of them want to go, or they all want to sit in front of you and meditate. So Swami Brahmananda said, all right, let them come. And there's so many monks. There's an account, there were nearly 50 monks and brahmacharis at that time who came there. He called them all. When they came for meditation, he said, you'll stand in a queue. So they stood in a queue. They thought, what's going on? It's funny. They stood in a queue, and then Swami Brahmananda said, now stand to attention. So they stood to attention. About turn. And so they all turned around, and he said, now start marching to that center for the feast. So funny things used to happen. Even in Belur Math, he would keep an eye on what was happening. Premanandaji was an ecstatic mystic too. And he had this tendency, his loving mother heart. He would give away things from Belur Math, food, all the things. There was almost nothing to give in those days, but he would give it away anyway. And Swami Brahmananda did not like this because Although he was such a mystic, but he was also extremely practical. One day, matters came to a head. There was a very poor man who used to live near the ashram in Belur Math. He used to come, and very simple man. He used to dance and sing Jai Ma Kali, victory to Mother Kali. So they named him Jai Ma Kali, that person. So one day this Jai Ma Kali came, and Swami Premananda, love overflowing, fed him nicely and said, "What can I give you? There's nothing to give you. I want to give you a gift." So there was this pumpkin plant, I think, and which he pulled out by the roots. And he gave it to Jai Ma Kali. This, you take this. You must not go away from Belur Math empty-handed. And Jai Ma Kali was walking out, and whom would he see but Swami Brahmananda? Swami Brahmananda stared at him, this man walking away with a plant from Belur Math. And Jai Ma Kali, of course, looked at him up and down and broke into a dance saying Jai Ma Kali. Swami Brahmananda didn't like it one bit, and he went and told Swami Premananda, "Baburam Maharaj, if it goes on like this, how will we run the ashram if you give everything away? This can't go on." And Premananda was so upset. "I am the manager of Belur Math. I can't give away a pumpkin plant, and what's the use?" And he decided, "I will leave I'll leave Belur Math. I don't want to stay here." And there is a beautiful story how he started walking towards the gate, and then he could not walk any further. He turned around. He felt that his scarf somebody was pulling. He looked around and he saw a vision. Sri Ramakrishna was standing there, and he was saying, "My dear, where are you going? You can't go anywhere." He pulled him back. There were such remarkable stories of Swami Brahmananda's love and sagacity. I'll end with this ashram. Our Vedanta Society of Southern California has a deep presence of Swami Brahmananda. Christopher Isherwood, many years ago when he came here, and he met Swami Prabhavananda, who was a disciple of Swami Brahmananda. He wrote, "This Swami behaves like a second in command." Swami Prabhavananda, Swami P. He always feels the presence of his master Swami Brahmananda. And he feels that whatever he does here is for Swami Brahmananda and on the wishes of Swami Brahmananda. He always feels the presence of Swami Brahmananda. He had a vision of Swami Brahmananda here. So the presence of Swami Brahmananda is palpable. There are places where you can really feel his presence. Once he says to Swami Shivananda, "Brother, I am so attached to Belur Math. Even after I pass away, I shall watch Belur Math from the skies." And there are other places like Bhubaneswar, and another place one feels is the Vedanta Society of Southern California, Hollywood, this particular center, where one can feel a spiritual vibration, the eternal companion, as Swami P. wrote. Swami Brahmananda is the eternal companion of God, the playmate of Sri Krishna. In the many thousands of years ago, on the sands of the river Yamuna in Vrindavan, the divine child played with his playmate. Once again in Dakshineshwar, the same divinity appeared with his companion, the same companion, Swami Brahmananda. On this occasion, we have spent the whole day in spiritual fervor, in singing, in meditation, in worship. Let us pray to Sri Ramakrishna, to the Holy Mother, to Swami Brahmananda, to bless us with devotion to the Lord. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So, we have been captivated with Swami Brahmananda's unique characteristics and his message and his life. His message is what Sri Ramakrishna wanted to focus, the God realization goal of life. And they are extraordinary people, as we have heard. By their presence, they can change the mind of the people. It is a special power which the whole Ramakrishna order works through their power. All the activities of the Ramakrishna mission, apparently it is all activity, but behind this spiritual power, spiritual strength. And that inspires us to lead our life into the expectation of Maharaj. Maharaj said that people will work by their own tendencies, but try to spend time in contemplation and prayers and meditation. We need to become something. We need to change our character. We need to be spiritual. But it does not happen just by being in Belur Math or in anywhere, in holy place. There is a statement that if you be in Belur Math for 3 days you can stay, then he will be liberated. So I was very excited when I heard that. See, young boy, before joining I thought, it's 3 nights only. And then all these people, all the Swamis and all the Brahmacharis, what a fortunate month and years they are staying over there. So they are all realized souls. But when I get a chance, not 3 days, for maybe 3 decades, then we understood what is meant by 3 days. And that is Swami Brahmananda teaches us, to be totally absorbed in the consciousness of God. God is the song of the soul. It should reverberate. It should vibrate in our every moment's movement. Maharaj used to say, japa, japa, japa. The days are going away. What are you doing? Do it when you are in this present health condition, good condition. Then you will repent. If you don't do it now, you will repent. Really, we are very excited to hear that when Maharaj is there, actually they lifted this mind of all, and they are also doing now. But our question is that our acceptability. It is, presence is here, spirituality is here, but are we receptive to that? So that is probably we have to remember today in Swami Brahmananda birthday. I'd say, his life is nothing but God. But, as he said, we think that we are doing big work. We have no time for God, thinking of God. But what Maharaj said, that if you keep 1 anna of your mind, 1 segment of your mind for the work, and give 90% of the time in God, then 1% of the mind will be enough to flood all the work. But we think opposite way. We have to give 90%, 99% time for our external work. But we forget that if the mind can be absorbed in God, then work will be so smooth and so easy, and work will be really worship. So these are inspiration. You have read Eternal Companion, all of you have read, and wonderful stories. Now there Raksha Chaitanya's book is there, Swami Brahmananda, translated by our Seattle Swami Bhaskarananda. Many things have come out in They Lived with God. There you can find, and also some translations. We have to read those things to get an inspiration and to put it into our life so that our life becomes illumined. So, it is our humble prayer so that we can be fit to carry this. We are fortunate. We who are here just feel that we are so close to these great spiritual giants who lived and walked on the ground. So we are fortunate indeed, but how can we take it into our life and put it into practice and get our spiritual wisdom, the eye opened? Let Swami Brahmananda bless us all and lead us to that inspired spiritual mood. So it's our prayer. Thank you.